going on, guys? JSGC here, back again for another Manchester City video, where today we're going to be doing a Manchester City transfer update. Before I do crack on with this video, make sure, like always, if you are enjoying the content, do subscribe to my channel. It is free to subscribe. In less than a month, I'm going to be going daily with my Manchester City transfer updates to keep you guys up to date throughout the whole summer transfer window with all the latest Manchester City transfer news here on YouTube. And the best way to stay up to date is by subscribing. It is free. Also, don't forget social media links there in the description if you want to go and follow me on my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too if you want to hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video. We're aiming for 300 likes, and also don't forget to put your thoughts in the comments below. Finally, this video is sponsored and brought to you by Sofascore, who are going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest football scores from around the grounds. They're going to keep you guys up to date with all the latest match information, along with the latest team news, statistics and so much more. It's not just limited to football scores, it's got you guys covered with all the sports that you love to watch, all in one place, all in one app. It's a free app to download, and anyone that does download using my link in the description or the QR code on screen does help to support the future content created here on my channel. The app is also very highly rated. Do go and check it out, links and details there in the description. So we've got no contract news to speak about, so we're going to dive straight on in with the out. We've got just one story to speak about, and that's an update on Maximo Perrone. Now, Fabrizio Romano has said that Como over in Italy, which is where Maximo Perrone spent the last season out on loan at, are working towards and making progress to sign Maximo Perrone on another season-long loan. It's believed there is a clause in his contract currently right now with his loan deal with Como, where Como have the option to loan him again for another season, which is what they're currently trying to activate and pursue to try and make happen. Fabrizio Romano has also said that Como are working with Manchester City, that if the possibility of making this deal permanent is there, they want to explore that as well. So Como are trying to sign Maximo Perrone on a potential loan once more for another 12 months, potentially with some kind of purchase option included in that. We'll see if it is a purchase option that includes a potential sell-on fee or buyback for Manchester City, and also we'll see if it's an option to buy or an obligation to buy to guarantee that money coming in for Maximo Perrone. But maybe, just maybe, looking like the future for Maximo Perrone isn't at Manchester City. Now, moving on to the ins, we've got an update on Florian Wirtz, and Relevo in Spain have said that despite interest coming in from Real Madrid for Florian Wirtz, the German 22-year-old attacking midfielder at Bayer Leverkusen, Real Madrid will not be making a move for Florian Wirtz this summer. So it's looking like a case that if Florian Wirtz decides to leave Bayer Leverkusen this summer, because he has been set to sign a new contract now for months, still not signed it by the way, that he's got serious interest coming in from Bayern Munich, which I was reported on in my last transfer update, where Bayern Munich are looking to steal a march on Manchester City to try and convince Florian Wirtz to join them. They believe they can get an agreement from the player. They believe they can get an agreement from his father, who's got quite an influence on this transfer. Manchester City pretty relaxed about the situation because they believe that Florian Wirtz wants to join them. So we're looking here at a little bit of a transfer tussle between Bayern Munich and Manchester City, and it's looking like sources coming in from Relevo in Spain that Real Madrid are not going to be part of that transfer tussle. So we're not looking at a three-way pull here to try and sign Florian Wirtz. We're looking at a two-way pull between Manchester City and Bayern Munich, and if it's not to be one of them two clubs, it'll be Florian Wirtz signing a new deal which will have a release clause in his contract, which will be active from next summer, when I believe Real Madrid will be interested in trying to sign Florian Wirtz. So it's all about what does Florian Wirtz want to do. He has been teasing Manchester City. His father wants Bayern Munich, wants him to stay in Germany, and German players like playing in Germany, they like playing in the Bundesliga, they like joining Bayern Munich, so it does have an attractive pull. We'll see. City have managed to make signings like this happen before. Look at Erling Haaland. We fought off the competition and made that signing happen. Bayern Munich are confident. Man City are relaxed about Florian Wirtz. we'll see what does happen. So moving on to the final transfer, I want to speak about Morgan Gibbs-White, and Fabrizio Romano this morning has given a very big update on him, and he said that Manchester City are advancing their move over the coming weeks to push for a deal to try and sign Morgan Gibbs-White this summer from Nottingham Forest. Morgan Gibbs-White is a 25-year-old central midfielder who can also play as a central attacking midfielder. He is English and also homegrown. That does mean we're going to have Premier League tax and English tax included on this transfer. Now, Manchester City, according to Fabrizio Romano, believe that there is going to be no problems when it comes to this transfer's personal terms, but Man City are expecting some little bumps in the road when it comes to potentially negotiating a transfer with Nottingham Forest in particular. Looking at that fee, we've previously been reporting that Nottingham Forest have slapped a whopping £100 million fee on Morgan Gibbs-White. Manchester City are not happy to pay that, so they won't be paying that. So if it's a simple situation of Nottingham Forest will only accept £100 million or Man City walk away, I'd strongly recommend that Manchester City walk away, because slapping £100 million on one player in the summer transfer window, a transition summer transfer window, where we're going to be looking potentially at the very least here 4 players, we could be looking at as many as 6 or 7 players. You can't really afford to be slapping just £100 million on a player because they play in the Premier League and they're homegrown. They might choose to do that with Florian Wirtz, but if you're going to be spending that kind of money, you've got to be thinking about this player's going to be the real deal. They're going to be playing first team football on a regular basis, and it'll take a little bit of time for Morgan Gibbs-White, if he does join Manchester City, to be able to adapt and settle himself in. Because of that, I'd probably look at Morgan Gibbs-White being more of a squad player to start with at Manchester City, so you'd want a transfer fee that kind of represents that. So I think if we were looking at somewhere between the £40 to £60 million mark, I don't think there'd be many people out there who'd have too much of a problem with this transfer. But when we start talking 70, 80, 90 million pounds to bring a player in, they're going to have to hit the ground running, and that's where my concern is here about Morgan Gibbs-White, about has he got that adaptability to go to the next level at Manchester City? Can he go from being that big fish in a small pond to is he going to be that small fish in a big pond at Manchester City? We've seen so many other homegrown players and players from other Premier League teams come to Manchester City and struggle. There's the odd few that really settle and really excel themselves, Riyad Mahrez being one fabulous example of that, but of all these players, bar Jack Grealish, none of these players were costing Manchester City £100 million. So it's something that City need to seriously think about. I don't think City are happy to pay £100 million, so we've got to have a look at and see if there is the possibility here that this transfer fee can be negotiated, and if it can, pursue the deal. If not, try and end it. And that might be why City are looking to make early moves here in this transfer window, so they can try and have a look at and see what situation we're dealing with, because fact of the matter is, Calvin Phillips and Kyle Walker more than likely won't be Manchester City players. I have my doubts that James McAtee will be a Man City player after this summer. There's a potential that Jack Grealish could even leave Manchester City, and if that is the case, we're looking at 3 to 4 homegrown players leaving the club, and they will need to be replaced. So we've got to be looking at the very best homegrown talents that are available for transfer, and I think a lot of this comes down to, does Morgan Gibbs-White want to leave Nottingham Forest? I think a lot of that depends on if they'll have Champions League football or not next season. If Nottingham Forest have Champions League football next season, I think that would probably convince Morgan Gibbs-White to stay, probably end up signing a new contract. If not, he may want to push himself and join Manchester City instead and play Champions League football and make that big move ahead of what is, for a lot of players who have got eyes on playing for their international team, like Morgan Gibbs-White will with England. We've got the World Cup coming up in the summer of 2026, so the summer of 2025 for clubs, for players who are maybe thinking, am I struggling to get a call up or not, may want to be thinking about them big moves now ahead of the World Cup rather than after the World Cup and missing their opportunity. So will Morgan Gibbs-White want to leave Nottingham Forest? Will he ask for a transfer away? Will he ask for the club to negotiate the transfer? Were Nottingham Forest willing to come down on the £100 million price tag? How much are Man City prepared to pay? There's a long way to go in this transfer. So whilst everyone's getting excited about Fabrizio Romano, one of the most reliable players in the transfer business, reporting on something, you've got to sometimes just try and look between these fine fine lines and try and digest properly what we're looking at when it comes to this transfer window and transfers involving Manchester City, which are normally never really that straightforward. But this is Manchester City making their first big move in the summer, and let me tell you right now, this is one of many big moves that Manchester City will be making in the summer transfer window, so you will want to stay up to date every single step of the way with all the latest Manchester City transfer news. Remember, from June 1st, going daily here on YouTube with my Manchester City transfer updates. You don't want to miss a thing, so make sure you have subscribed. It is free. Also, don't forget to go and check out my social media links. They're in the description, including my Twitter, Instagram and TikTok. Email also in the description too. Go and hit me up for any sponsorships for any videos or any general business inquiries. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video. We're going for 300 likes, and also don't forget to get your thoughts in the comments below. And finally, this video is sponsored and brought to you by Sofascore. I'll see you all again real soon for the next one. So I've been JSGC. Thank you everyone for watching. Hope everyone is safe and well. Peace. Ciao for now.